Manga recommendations you need to read. So if you're anything like me, you are also a manga addict, and I am also an addict of manga. So I'm gonna start off by saying that this is one of my favorite videos yet. But I also am hoping that people don't get too mad at me when I'm saying certain things. As always, it's hard to pick manga recommendations because there is so many interesting manga out there. But these are some that I really liked and still think about a lot. It might not be most well-known stuff, but if you like anime or manga, these are great reads to check out. Starting off with our number 10, Namakizakari. Honestly, this started out as a 10 for me. 100 plus chapters in, now I feel like they are just adding things to stretch it out. It feels like the end should have already come and it hasn't. Like the other romance manga that I have read, I wish it has this and this, but Namakizakari has what I wanted. I can't spoil you all since it'll ruin the mood to read it, but really, honestly speaking, you all should read this. I love all the characters, they are hilarious and fun. It's just that I wish I read this when it's completed because it is stressing me out waiting for another chapter. I can say that this manga is my favorite. After reading this manga, it's hard to read another manga because it's making your standards high. Really, one of the best. Number 9. I became a legend after my 10-year-long last stand. Japanese people are weird when they name it, so the story is generic but not widespread. The progression of the story progression is more interesting than the summary of the MC's character space. The pacing is good, but the world needs building up on. For now, we are just meant to enjoy the fighting scenes and accept the vampires are evil. The confrontation lacks some intensity considering how powerful our main character and fair old party mates are. There is also a chicken, Jerburga, that is basically the key of the saving the world, which is pretty funny. Number 8. Vagabond. 10 out of 10 for everything. Damn, I sound like I am really easy to please. That isn't the case, I think, but I'm usually open-minded. Enough of that though. Allow me to pour my heart out for the legend of Miyamoto Musashi, beautifully illustrated in Inao Takehiko's best work yet, Vagabond. Following a horrific defeat at the Battle of Sekigahara, two survivors, Takezo Shinman and Matahachi Honaiden, are deflated at having been unable to make the name for themselves and earn glory on the battlefield. But while Matahachi is anxious to go home, Takezo has vowed never to return and intends to become a vagabond, traveling the country polishing and testing his skills as a swordsman. With a bestial mercilessness when it comes to killing and a habit of cutting down all in his path, it doesn't take long for Takezo to become a wanted fugitive. However, after being captured by a monk named Takuan and given a new lease of life, Takezo begins to live under the name of Musashi Miyamoto. Now, with a new view on life and death, Musashi continues to travel the nation challenging the most infamous fighters to achieve his goal of becoming the strongest samurai ever known. Number 7. Boys Run The Riot. Though I have only read one volume of this manga so far, it's amazing. The art is beautiful and I think this is going to end up being one of my favorites when I complete it. It shows great representation of a young trans teen struggling with his identity and finding ways he can be himself and finding friends that accept him. This perfect trans coming of age story about starting a clothing company is definitely worth the read. This is amongst the greatest, heartwarming, fictional manga stories that have been making waves in Japan and will now inspire readers all over the world. Number 6. Blue Flag. The story starts out simple. Ichino's MC is asked by his crush to help her date his best friend. The development of these two characters develops wonderfully as they work to better understand themselves and learn of their own self-value. There are also themes of LGBT+ romance as two of the characters have to come to terms that the people they have a crush on is unrequited due to the fact they are the same gender. One of the characters reveals this, and from there the story takes a huge dive into more of a philosophical discussion on people's feeling and what can be viewed as the right or wrong thing to do. The second half is a much harder read than the beginning and leaves you somewhat confused about what's being said. Overall, I think the story starts out really good, but the second half can leave you confused and unsatisfied. Moving on to number 5. Musso Telepathy. Yeah, definitely better than another certain anime. There isn't any story to this than them going through their high school lives. I really liked how everything is black and white, and when we see inside other people's heads, we see how expressive and colorful everything gets. For the characters, I often related more to the main characters, mainly because I am an introvert that experienced unrequited love. So I felt how it feels to feel so alone and knowing how you feel. I really like this power damages her mentally, and we get to see what she does to fix this. I also like that they wanted to explore this power even further, and the experiments were funny too. I would recommend to anyone wanting a semi-short read with some thought-provoking ideas. Number 4. Hell's Paradise, Jigokuraku. Really great read for those who love a good action or survival story. The premise itself is a variation on a story you have all heard before, surviving on an island. But instead of being randomly kidnapped and dumped on the island, we actually have a bunch of criminals and their executioners who have been sent on a suicide mission to recover the potion of life for the Emperor. It could be broadly categorized under action, fighting, and shonen, but you are not inundated with cliché, courage conquers all, and power of friendship bullshit. It's actually refreshingly down to earth, and it actually gets a little dark and philosophical in some places. Unique twists and likable characters keep you excited about what will happen next. It's not just an action manga, and the whole situation turns out to be way more complicated than you are initially led to believe. If we consider a spectrum where one end is feel-good, shonen-esque action and the other end is dark, gritty, and slow-burning drama, Jigokuraku fits nicely in between. A perfect balance of exciting action and gritty drama. Number 3. Fire Punch. Fire Punch is a great manga from another one of my favorite authors. No wonder it's great. LOL. Our MC Agni is great too. He's well thought out and written, especially his mindset. His mind is so well thought out, it's crazy to be honest. But what made him have his psychotic mindset is the world or environment he is in. The story is really good, but I don't really think Fujimoto drew it that well. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but it could be more. In my opinion, of course. The characters are solid as fuck. Like, whoa, those little shits have me thinking really deeply, laughing my ass out. My favorite character is San. He was so cute, lol. But Fujimoto was not rolling with him and decided to fuck with his brain. Overall, this manga is great. It made me think really differently about the world and society we live in. We are truly disgusting. Great manga, by the way. It made me shed tears near the end. Lol. Number 2. Kaiju number 8. With the highest kaiju emergence rates in the world, Japan is no stranger to attacks by deadly monsters. Enter the Japan Defense Force, a military organization tasked with the neutralization of kaiju. Kafka Hibino, a kaiju corpse cleanup man, has always dreamed of joining the force. But when he gets another shot at achieving his childhood dream, he undergoes an unexpected transformation. How can he fight kaiju now that he's become one himself? Man, this manga is awesome. It really has an exciting plot as well as a really funny MC along with amazing side characters. The art is also top tier with how they are portraying the fighting scenes. I would say this has a heck ton of potential of being a masterpiece. Anyways, this manga is super good. And finally, number 1, Chainsaw Man. The art style and character designs were the main features that drew me towards reading this manga. I find Fujimoto's way of drawing to be very visually appealing, and it only took seeing one of the colored double pages to cause me to research and ultimately begin reading Chainsaw Man without knowing much else about it. It may come across that I am easy to please. However, unique art style are one of my major pulls. The intriguing synopsis was the cherry on the top. I'll be honest, This isn't a bad manga at all. In fact, I think it's quite good, but people are seriously overhyping it. The main character Denji is one of the best MCs I have seen in anime and manga, but the story isn't really all that. Yeah, it's entertaining, but it's really overrated. So ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our today's list with that. But before we leave, make sure you leave with a thumbs up to the video. We really work hard for bringing content for you guys. Therefore, a like to the video will be really motivating. If you have any sorts of queries or suggestions, the comment section is always open too. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to us so that you won't be missing out on any of our future updates as we ensure to bring more quality content in the future times. Till another one, see ya and goodbye.